Greetings everybody. In this video we're going over the maintenance patch notes that just happened 0.1.1 on March 6th. These are going over a lot of fixes and things that were going wrong with Nightingale. So hopefully some things that you had issues with are going to be fixed in these patch notes. Feel free to have this on a second monitor on the background and listen along as you play the game or do other various things, as I'm just going over the notes that are on the website. So 0.1.1 patch notes, bug fixes. The first section here is progression blockers. You're going to have fixes for various crashes. That's going to be if you press tab and I at the same time, loading into the watch, mining and chopping trees, mitigating out of memory, and some Intel processor crashes. Network errors or progression resets should no longer happen when the game is force quit. Creatures should no longer vanish during vault encounters. Added certifications that should prevent antivirus programs such as AVG from blocking Nightingale from launching. Logging out or leaving the realm should no longer block the quest Keep the Beast at Bay from Shiv Pearson and should be fixed for those who previously ran into this issue. Some changes were implemented to the Byway tutorial realms to address various crashes, progression blockers, and general incorrect game states. In the art and visual section, scrolling quickly in Character Creator should no longer create SFX spam. Removing Trapper's shoes from Critter and Calcarian boots no longer cause invisible legs. Forest and Desert Bunker POI no longer has see-through gaps. Removed unintended floating assets at Forest Ruins POI. Fixed missing water mesh in Desert Herbarium Small Oasis POI and Astrolabe Swamp. If you want to know what POI is, that is a point of interest. Added missing waves to some instances of forest maps. Mystic Climbing Pick third-person animation now uses the intended animation. After dashing with the lantern, player's main hand animation should no longer lock. They've added cooldown on Poison Trap visual effects to prevent it getting stuck. Climbing Pick magic visual effects should now show in third person. Ghost card fog effects should look more consistent for all performance settings. They fixed warping on Nighttime Starfield. The Pagoda Foundation brick top and bottom pattern now align. Cleansing minor card should now remove visual minor card effects. Hoover visual effects should no longer lock when player is in motion. For audio sound effects, the star map room music no longer gets stuck when taking staircases. The increasing gear score should no longer produce player pain sounds. Fixes for some glitchy sound effects when destroying bustable objects. Fixed sound effects for eating berries. Removed sound artifact that sounded like knocking from the refined Enchanter's focus. The phase star map music should no longer cut in and out in the watch. Sound effects now apply to spells with the enchanted repair hammer. Removed estate cairn sound loop next to Aurelio. And they've added missing build complete sounds for various structures such as the stone carving block, enchantment station, potion station, crystal ball, plant box, stick tent, and simple wooden table. Under building, you can now add light decorations to the underside of upper floor pieces. Fixed seed growth in the simple plant pot and plant box. Estate cairns should create respite points even when the point of interest structures such as broken pillars. Crude transom archways now support roofs. Crude peaked roofs, crude peaked corner roof, and desert roof pieces should no longer allow rain to pass through. The stave triangle should now fully rotate. Materials should no longer be lost when removing partially complete building blueprints. Fixes for when players can occasionally not add resources to build encounters. And legal augments should now connect to alchemical boilers. Under the control settings and controls in general, keybind changes should no longer break after player death. You can remap the push to talk key. Inventory rebind should now respect your non-tab key. With controller fixes, players can now navigate through the greeting screens, can now select the options part of the ammo radio menu, can remove map markers from the map, should be able to navigate simple upgrade bench fully, updates to umbrella gliding inputs, can now rotate your character and the character creation menu. They swapped the D-pad control cycles on the toolbars, and should be able to rotate blueprints when it's another tileset piece. Under Economy, Gossamer and Time infusions can now be assigned to items. Makeshift torch can no longer be upgraded at benches. Crafting bench timers can no longer be reduced to 1 second to avoid visual and sound effects errors. And the umbrella gliding no longer increases player power levels. With NPCs, Wheelhead Bound Hammer should no longer linger after death. Small creatures should no longer reach above themselves to get onto surfaces. They fixed wardrobe clipping on some Ambient Essence Exchange merchants. Puck's dialogue should match written text in the encounter before the watch portal. Recruited NPCs should no longer teleport into invalid locations, such as inside of terrain. Reductions in Bishop and Knight Automaton, Hero Vine Elk, and Lepordian ragdolls falling through the world. Desert Eotons should now use their Bramble ability. Blast Miner's Trap should no longer blow up other human NPCs. Prismatic Pupfish now displays the correct creature name. You can now properly apologize to Danu. Bound at Defense encounters now properly despawn with dissolving effect. Recruited NPCs no longer ignore Elephas. Fledgling Apothecary challenges should now provide a reward upon completion. Removed uncraftable enchantment charm recipes from NPCs. For the player's character, the player character model should not appear in first person before dissolving visual effects plays when loading into a realm. Improved deconstruction accuracy when using extreme camera angles in third person. Removed obsolete fed time trait. Animation should no longer loop when reloading the Winchester while aiming. Various stability changes to the character creator menu. Changing category while in eye detail screen should no longer break the camera. Escape no longer breaks customization when in the naming panel. Adjusting intensity of makeup colors with no color be selected should no longer remove all your makeup. Reset button and eye manipulation should now apply to eye position. Random button on inheritance screen now applies changes to the player character. Mustaches should no longer stretch with facial reconstructing. Hard difficulty hat should no longer snap to your face after changing facial hair. There should no longer be a third hand when collecting while swimming. AI. Logging out while climbing should no longer put players out of bounds. Reloading the chase pot rifle while crouched no longer stacks hidden status. For resources, trees should more reliably turn into logs after being cut. You do see some trees turn into logs, but they also fall through the ground. Bushman grass in the desert should now be collectible. Textiles using animal fiber should inherit their unique appearance. Clothing should now inherit specialized patterns from higher tier animal hide. Chitin no longer can be used as a replacement for bone or hide. Papyrus now callable with a sickle. Oberon bounty spells should no longer drop mismatch essence tier properties. Carnute Ichor should go straight to the player inventory rather than dropping on the ground. Crafting hybrid stone at an excellent masonry bench no longer creates carved stone. And illegal stacked rocks at points of interest has been removed. For the UI and UX, the rebinding additional mouse buttons should no longer stretch icons. Players can no longer consume ammo from the Q slot. Removed mentions of hope from various texts. Decor recipes no longer appear on cooking stations without augmentations. Guidebook entries should no longer require multiple clicks to expand. Players should be able to consistently remove items from fueled structures. Death chest map pin should now show the correct cause of death. Pocket watch matches server time. Completed items and benches should now show the correct amount of items after long rest. Text should no longer be cut off for the higher lumberjack challenge. Previously played realm cards should show when reopening portals. Gear score should be consistent between inventory and what is shown to other players. Pistol crosshair now shows on first load when in third person. Interact prompts no longer disappear after using help I'm stuck. Longer NPC names should no longer be cut in the realm preview UI. Track and info buttons should no longer cut off text. Challenges should no longer be exposed in the guidebook before requirements are met. Recipes should no longer show as craftable even when there aren't enough ingredients. Move and remove prompts for ineligible realm structures should now be the same. Food icons should not persist after timer has run out or disappeared before the timer runs out. Status bars should fill properly, consistently. The Elder Eilton life bar no longer persists regardless of distance. Charm of Stealth does not show continually. Travel to Herbarium quest should no longer show as 0 out of 0 progress. In progress, bench timers should persist when returning to a server. Death chests should no longer have inconsistent spacing between items. Removing inconsistent flickering on bench UI when players queue up tasks. Key shortcuts should no longer break after looking at the fuel widget. Charms no longer incorrectly state they increase carry capacity. For miscellaneous, various localization additions, updates, and changes. Under the game changes, for audio and sound effects, they've added sound effects for Tier 2 and 3 Stone Crafting Station, the Crude Umbrella. The art visuals, updated tiered plant resource textures and red mushroom textures, adjusted text in backgrounds and inventory transfer menus to help with legibility, adjusted gem material for lighting, removed essence visual effects from infusions, added Draymond's ensemble and hat, adjusted rock shapes to help players distinguish harvestable rock, changed the texture of one deer stag model to be consistent with the others, added missing Nightingale symbols to tileset vendors. Under building, crafting stations now get threatened status when in close proximity to hostile creatures. For controls, they've added controls for rotating through the offhand toolbar, Alt plus middle mouse button. Nice. They added support for gamepad navigation and character creator. They changed the hammer skill to a hold skill. Escape should now exit crafting and storage menus. Typing in the guidebook search no longer loses focus. In the economy and balancing, firearm costs decreased to 100 rather than 1300. They adjusted the debuff for Hungry Tired to be less punishing. They removed the water bottle essence exploit. They removed rocks to ammo exploit. They adjusted pricing and items at Essence Trader stores. They added missing resources to Essence Trader stores. The balance changes for Shockwave spell. They did some balance changes for magic and balance changes for resource drops. They added Lunar Nectar attainable in shops. Axe picks, mining picks, malls, and climbing picks reach has been increased. For player characters, players will no longer take damage while loading from return to respite. Players with a full inventory won't lose rewards from the watch without knowing it. Backpack will automatically be equipped with the easy loadout. Removed cloth physics from Ancestors for improved game performance. Ancestors should no longer have strong makeup by default. For resources, they adjusted Water Cabbage interaction box, added discoveries to Hope Echoes and Ascended Realms, added additional localization for healing salves and potions. Glow spores are now harvested with sickles. Colorful glass now requires glass to craft. Raw berries tea, name changed to spice tea. Removed invalid fey vases from POIs. For the UI, user interface, and the user experience, they added keybind hints to raising and lowering structures, added warning in pet bed description that only one pet can be active in the realm. Pressing return to respite now closes the menu. Added missing icons for clothing, twist drops, tools, guns, coffee recipe, and unique wood bundles. Improved damage vignette. Added announcements banner for pending maintenance in the main menu for future updates. Changed shard error message to servers unavailable for future updates. Added user-facing game version numbers in main menu and debug screen. Improved option screen layout, added missing status effect icons, added server region select to character creator, reskin panel for pop-up widgets, added blank cards to show item previews in shops, added new category to the guidebook, various description and text updates or changes, station traits moved to menu in top right, removed challenge count in guidebook, benches are now listed in tier order when looking at required benches in the crafting menu. Players now get informed when they leave or get kicked from a party. Higher quality checkboxes added to the settings menu. Error reading game data now asks users to verify game files to check for corruption. For NPCs, they added loot shimmer when pawns collect resources. The recruited NPCs will not join you in vaults accessed from the watch, but you can join you in private vaults. Adjusted damage outputs for fabled creatures and larger creatures. NPCs won't attack passive creatures in offering quests. Removed encounter vendors. Most NPC shops have had their wares changed and costs adjusted, unlocking previously locked items such as ornate spyglass. Critter Eiltons now drop wood after death rather than meat and bones. Hunt's Site of Power no longer spawns random automaton combinations and is now fixed to 1 bishop and 1 knight. For miscellaneous, they disabled the NVIDIA DLSS frame generation due to causing some GPU crashes. Players have the option to turn it back on if desired. And FSR upscaling is once again available. However, FSR frame generation is still unavailable due to stability issues. Thank you for your contributions and feedback so far. Look forward to sharing future updates with you all. So that was a lot of updates, a lot of cool stuff happening, changes going on. They're on a right path for some of those things. I'm really happy they decided to add the scrolling through the other hand with your mouse button and all. So hopefully we see some more changes and stuff happen. I know some things take a little bit more to fix than just adding in that key command or some key commands. So they seem to be on a good path. Remember, we will have crafting from our inventory. That is something that they're adding into the game, and they are adding an offline mode in the future. Those things are going to take a little bit longer, I think, to prepare, so be prepared for those. But stay tuned to the channel for more patch notes. Make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.